game where you up by 15, I'm sure you felt like you had the game in hand, and then you ultimately lose.
Man, you just got to finish the game. It's never over till it's 0-0-0 on the clock. We found that out tonight.
Lamar, did you have a say on that 4th and 3 yard? Were you coaches there at all?
No, I was cramping, so that's why I pretty much jogged out the field. Because if I wasn't, I would. Everybody in here know I would have been trying to go for a 4th and 3. But yeah.
Welcome to a new season of NFL football. My name is Keith. I do Black Quarterback Series, and so let's talk about week 1. So I've been working like crazy already. I don't think I've ever put up this many videos in this many days. If you want to hear about all the primetime games, the Kansas City, me crashing out, about Baltimore being terrible, and Justin Herbert being elite, all of that will be at the end. Or you can go down my feed and you can find it. I've made videos on all those games. And so also I did a video on the Monday Night Football game. It'll also be at the end. So let's talk about it. So the first game I watched was the Washington game. They ended up being okay, but that's not the game that we're going to start with. We're going to start with on the thumbnail, Justin Fields versus Aaron Rodgers, kind of a swap type thing. So let's get the numbers out the way. So, do I have numbers? Aaron Rodgers, 22 for 30, 244 yards, 4 touchdowns. I don't have Justin Fields' rushing numbers, but I think he rushed almost 100 yards. He'll be on the screen. 16 for 22, a touchdown, 218 yards. Garrett Wilson, 7 receptions, 94 yards, and touchdown. I think their running back actually had a good game too. And like I said on my thumbnail, is Justin Fields turning a career corner. Now, I think we had this conversation. We've had this conversation for the last few seasons, and I've always said, can Justin Fields reach that level to – I know Lamar had a bad second half yesterday, but can Justin Fields reach that level of field general? Like Lamar Jackson is starting to call plays, starting to audible, starting to get that free reign, and Lamar, I think, is year 8 or 9. Can Justin Fields stay in the infield long enough to finally capture that? Because Lamar Jackson's, athleticism has always been there, but when the mind finally caught up with the body, it was like, okay, now we got it. So, can Justin Fields reach that level? I think Justin Fields can reach that level, especially with the Jets, because I think I said in the preseason that the Jets will kind of let him do his own thing. They have a really good offense. Now they play in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh is not like it's a good offense, a good defense. I'm not gonna sit here and say Pittsburgh is a bad offense or a bad defense, but can they reach that level of being really, really good? So, and we're gonna see. They played hard in this game. I know I'm talking about just feels like they won, but them losing in the fashion that they lost really, wasn't the worst thing to happen, right? They got beat by an all-time great. Let's talk about that all-time great. Now, Aaron Rodgers was good towards the tail end of the season, and he kind of took it over to this season. He had weapons in New York, but he played better last season. Well, he played better towards the end of last season, and he did what he needed to do to win. Aaron Rodgers did Aaron Rodgers things. Like, this is not MVP A-Rod, but he did what he needed to do to win. Really, really good game. I know I'm just talking about the quarterback, not really talking about the game itself, but I put – are Jets better than we thought, or Pittsburgh worse than we thought? So the one turnover in the game, it was only one turnover in this game, and that was the deciding factor as to why the Jets lost. And you can look at all the other factors and be like, well, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, but that turnover was the biggest reason they lost right there. And they don't have that turnover, and just like the Cleveland Browns we'll get to later, they found a way to lose. They're the Jets, right? But just from what I saw from the Jets, I loved what I saw. It's week one, but this Jets team looks comparable. This Jets team doesn't look thoroughly outmanaged. And that's something that we've had a problem with the Jets in a while. So shout out to the Jets. I probably won't cover them every week, but we're gonna tune in and out on them just to see how they are. Pittsburgh, we're gonna be talking about Pittsburgh all year because of the NFC North, because of the AFC North. So yeah. And shout out to Jalen Ramsey on that hit, that game-winning hit. That hit was crazy. If you guys need to go watch this game, this is probably the best game of the week. This is the best game of the week. Now we can talk about the Washington game. Jaden Daniels, 19 for 30, 232 yards. Not the best second half, but it was enough to get it done. I think they could have ran and hid more, so to speak, in that game. I don't know if they scored in the second half. I think they might only score one touchdown in the second half. But they were playing the New York Jets. Um, Russell Wilson looked terrible, but I don't know if that's a Russell Wilson looked terrible thing or is it just the Giants being terrible because the offensive line was terrible. Not too much to speak of. The Giants were terrible on third down. I don't have the numbers to support that, but just from what I saw, the number it was bad. It was bad. Yeah, Washington gets it done. Washington gets it done. Gets a divisional win. The Texans now because the NFL is terrible, and I don't have my NFL app yet. I got to do some stuff so I can get my NFL app back and watch the condensed versions. But just from what I watched, C.J. Stroud, 19 for 27, 188 yards, and an interception. That interception was not on C.J. That interception was not on C.J. He put the ball where it needed to be. If I have it, if I recorded it, I'm gonna put some of it up here. C.J. put that ball where it needed to be. The Ram defender just went and got it. And like it's funny that that they were playing the Rams because as I was watching this game, I thought about it. Houston Texans are like the 2010s Rams. Not any particular year in the 2010s, but from like '09 to up until the time that they left St. Louis. We always had a great defense, good skilled players. We could never get the O-line right. And that's what took Kurt out. That's what took Mark Bolger out. That's what essentially took Sam Bradford out. Like we went through a rose gallery of quarterbacks because we could not protect them. We couldn't protect them. And anytime they went to another team and they could get protected, they looked great. So I don't want Houston Texans to be the 2010s Rams because they're way too talented. But if you look at these games and don't just box score watching these games, you're gonna come away with like, man, CJ it'd be doing everything. He don't make every pass, but CJ be doing everything. So yeah, as they like tweaking out. I don't know if I can hear that, but they like tweaking out outside. But yeah, so shout out to CJ. He doing what he can. That defense doing what they can. But like I said last year, this offensive line is going to be Houston Texans undoing, and it don't look much. It don't look like, yeah, and it doesn't look like much has changed, unfortunately. So, shout out to Stafford, 60,000 passing yards, insane. But he's always been a numbers guy. Like, I think he got to be the first person to have 2 Pro Bowl receivers set records, and he didn't make the Pro Bowl. That's a crazy stat. But yeah. CJ, you'll be all right. Hopefully, CJ, you'll be all right. They need to get that offensive line together. They might have to sacrifice some defense in order to get that offensive line together. Kyler Murray, I didn't get a chance to look at that game or go through that game or any dive, like super deep dive into it. But he looked, from the highlights and everything I saw, he looked good. We won't know about the Cardinals until later on. And I keep saying Thanksgiving as a benchmark, but it really is almost an NFL benchmark to tell you what teams are going to be. This is going to be a little different this year. If it sounds like I'm starting the whole video over, it's because I recorded the second half of this video a different day. So, the Thanksgiving is kind of like a barometer to see where NFL teams at. Starting to get cold, leaves changing. And so, especially with the Cardinals sometimes winning 5 straight and then losing the next 10. We never know with the Cardinals. And like I'm going to say every week now, because we have so many teams to cover, we're going to be following them throughout the season. If you don't hear me talk about them, let me know. I'll talk about them. But we will be following every black quarterback throughout the season. So I got a request to talk about the Vegas Raiders. Now I was going to talk about the Vegas Raiders anyway. Like I said, we're going to follow everybody, but I got a request to talk about them, and the Raiders look just like Seattle. They look like the Seahawks, South, so to speak. They got Geno Smith and they got Pete Carroll. Defense looks like a Seattle defense. They got Alvin Gentry. I think that's his first name. They got Gentry, so they got their Marshawn Lynch clone. Like these pieces or Seattle Seahawks pieces, and I'm sure USC looked like this too with Pete Carroll there. Pete Carroll has a certain style of play to where you can look at a team and be like, oh, that's a Pete Carroll team. Oh, that team is well coached. Oh, that team is going to run the ball really well. Oh, that team is going to have a defense that flies around. And that's what I saw when I watched Geno Smith and the Vegas Raiders play against the New England Patriots. Geno Smith was 24 for 34, 362 yards, a touchdown and an interception. The guy looked like he's been looking the last 5 years when he was in that offense. Like nothing has changed except the location. Geno Smith went to the offense that he's cool with, and he cooked a fairly decent Patriots team. That's Geno. We're gonna have to start having conversations about Geno being one of the best journeymen that we've seen in the NFL. Like Jacoby Brissett is another good journeyman, but he didn't have this level of production. Geno Smith is a perfect example of he might not be the guy you want him to be, but he's an NFL caliber talent of quarterback. You got Geno Smith on your team, you're going to win some games. And so that's my fault of not doing my due diligence on Vegas. Vegas is going to scare a lot of people. Pete Carroll is there. Geno Smith is there. You can almost book 9 games. And they might not make the playoffs in that division, but they're going to win 8 or 9 games, and they're going to upset some people that you're like, I can't believe Geno. Geno been doing what he's doing right now for almost a decade. You know what I mean? So they're going to be interesting to watch. As I said, everybody else, we're going to cover them. We're going to try to cover them, but it's a lot of teams we got to get to. I'm covering 16 quarterbacks now. Like I remember when I was only covering 5 or 6, and now this is the most starting black quarterbacks that we've ever had in the NFL, which means my workload is tripled, right? I started this 7 years ago, and just to see it evolve to what it is, it's great. Even though I'm not getting the views and everything, I love doing this. So, couple things that are black quarterback adjacent. Danny Dimes lives to fight another week. Out there looking like Tom Brady or Peyton Manning against the Dolphins, and this might have ripple effects. I kind of want the Dolphins to fire their coach so Baltimore can hire him. But I don't know if he's as strategic or attentive as Baltimore needs. Because we don't need a young John Harbaugh. We need a coach that's very attentive. We need a very minute coach. I think Bill Belichick with this team would be great. I think the attention to detail that he would give Baltimore will be second to none. So that's something people might want to look at. But this might be it for Tua too. I think this is Tua's last season to figure out if he's the guy or not. Even though they gave him that big contract, I don't think it matters. Like Tua is just, I don't know. Now I didn't watch the game, so take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But just from the outside looking in, like you got blown out to the Colts. And I was the one saying the Colts were still going to be pretty decent. I didn't think Danny Dimes was going to come out looking like that. And then I saw something online. It was like Russell Wilson looks like Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones looks like Russell Wilson. Like, it's crazy how that happened, right? But Danny Dimes lives to fight another day. We're not talking about Anthony Richardson. But I fully expect Anthony Richardson to be back in conversations when Daniel Jones falls back down to earth. What else we got? Nothing to really speak of when it comes to the Patriots. The Panthers game. The Panthers and who they play? Trevor Lawrence. Jacksonville Jaguars. Not much to speak on it for real. I'm not gonna make any judgments against the Panthers this week 1. We know they won't be very good, but I want to see strides. I think they'll probably hit their stride later on in the season, and this might be. I know it's early, but this is the season we might have to start having conversations about Bryce Young. Kyler Murray and Bryce Young kind of in the same predicament. Even though Bryce Young has not won as much, Bryce Young is on the hot seat right now. Bryce Young got to show some. He got to show some more than just end of the year flashes. I need to see more sustained success. But the other argument is what he got to work with. So it remains to be seen. But I'm not going to pass judgment on them until we actually get like to Thanksgiving. I'm going to keep harping on the Thanksgiving thing. I'm not going to harp on much until we get to Thanksgiving. So the Titans in Denver. I wrote they have pieces. They have pieces that can run the ball. Defense is good. Simmons is really good. I think his first name must be Justin or Jonathan or something like that. And I think Simmons was on the top player 100 list, right? If I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna do my due diligence to put that up top. I think Simmons is a top 100 guy because I remember seeing his name, and I didn't watch the Titans much last year. And they got to learn how to win. They had the number one pick for a reason. Like I said, there's pieces there. I think they're going to be really good. I thought they were going to be the Houston of a few years ago. I think that team may actually be Vegas. Now that I know Pete Carroll is there and Geno and blah, blah, blah. Now, I knew Geno was there, but I took it as a grain of salt. I didn't think too much into it. But Cam looked fine. Nothing too special, but not awful. Receivers dropping the ball. Two plays in particular where Calvin really clearly dropped passes that would have kept him in the game. I don't know if Calvin really hands left him or something. I don't know what's going on here, but just got to find talent. I said this in the preseason when I sat down and actually watched Cam Ward play. It's not his fault that his receivers are not very good. You know what I mean? It's like I hate to keep comparing everything to Lamar Jackson, but it seems like Lamar Jackson in his first two playoff games where everybody just couldn't catch the ball and they kept dropping the ball. That's kind of what it looked like to me. Cam Ward was 12 for 28, 112 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. So he did okay. He could have had a few touchdowns if his receivers remembered that they were receivers and learned how to catch the ball. So nothing too special. And on the backs of that, J.J. McCarthy versus Caleb Williams. So J.J. in Monday Night Football, because I didn't do a video for Monday Night Football, so I'm going to do it to finish off this episode. J.J. looked really good in that second half. And Monday Night Football, 27-24 Vikings. So J.J. looked absolutely terrible that first half. Head was spinning. Everything was moving so fast for him, and you could just tell that he was just didn't know what the hell was going on. I text my friend, my brother, my Vikings fan, and I was like, JJ don't look good. I don't know if JJ is the guy. He was like, you got to give him more time. And I was like, you're right. Cam Ward didn't play well last night. But that second half, JJ earned a lot of respect in that locker room for that second half. 13 for 20, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. I wish I could split it into halves because I know he played better in that second half. They shored up the offensive line. They was able to protect him more and give him time. I didn't even know he had legs on him like that to make that. Just absolutely beautiful second half performance by J.J. McCarthy. Caleb Williams, 21 for 35, 210 yards and a touchdown. Now, Caleb Williams was the opposite. Excellent first half. Flawless first half. Looked like the Patrick Mahomes comparison that we have for him in that second half. The offensive coordinator turned head coach that they got had it humming, and it just fell apart in the second half. Like, it was at a point where they had 9 straight third down misses, where they had to punt the ball after missing third down 9 straight times. It got ugly, right? This is going to be, if these two teams can keep leveling up, this is going to maintain a good rivalry. That's why I said this is one of the two divisions that could possibly have 3 teams in the playoffs. So, and I have an AFC North NFC Championship game. So, go look at that video if y'all want to hear my predictions, which my Super Bowl prediction is kind of flawed after Monday's video. But anyway, so yeah, this is a really good game. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was in and out of it, but I was able to muster up the health to watch the second half, and I thoroughly enjoyed the second half. So I think that's all I got for you guys. One more thing before I go. I know I was very hot when in the Baltimore video, so I didn't give no deep analysis of the Baltimore video. Shout out to Kurt something. I'm going to put his YouTube channel up. I saw him on Twitter, and I went to look at the video. He made a really good point. The Baltimore Ravens are handcuffing probably the best player in the NFL. I'm paraphrasing. They're handcuffing one of the best players in the NFL and not letting him have those moments. While Buffalo empowers their guy to have those moments. And that's one of the leading factors. Baltimore is not very detail-oriented. Every other team is very detail-oriented. You don't think Andy Reid or Sean, I think it's Mick something. I'm sorry, guys. Week one. It's week one. Week one rust, run. Week one rust. They empower their guys to make plays. Well, we don't empower our guy to make plays. It's 4th and 3. And at the time, I was like, punt it. But Kurt in the video made a very good point. You change it, and Buffalo's riding it down with their guy with that. We punted the ball and couldn't do anything. So, empower your Hall of Famer. Yes, Lamar's a Hall of Famer. Empower your Hall of Famer because they've been coasting on talent way too long. And we need more detail-oriented coaching in Baltimore. If Andy Reid was on this team, they would have won at least one Super Bowl by now. If Belichick was on this team, they mess around and go undefeated. So let me know if y'all think Belichick should take this job. Now, I don't think they're going to fire John Harbaugh. They're just going to ignore what we're saying. Let me know if y'all think Bill Belichick would be a good guy there. Because I'm thinking we need a very detail-oriented guy to run Baltimore. We need a very stern leader in Baltimore now. So let me know who y'all would pick to run Baltimore if y'all could pick a coach. I think Belichick would be my pick to run it. Belichick or the guy in Miami. But I don't know if he's very detail-oriented. So let me know. Let me know what you guys think. Week one, I know this video is a little rusty, but we're going to get it together. We're going to be much better. Week two, I'll talk to you guys Thursday. We'll see you guys on Thursday. Peace.